Hey beautiful ladies, Shakti here, and just wanting to make this little live stream right now about loving your boobies. So we are in the last week in my paid Awakening Shakti group program, focusing on awakening your sexual energy. And next month, or the next segment, we're going to be focusing on meeting the masculine. But while we're still in this month of sexual energy, I thought, well, we've not really, or I've not really spoken here in this group to this area of the body and its connection with everything else. So I wrote a blog, which some of you will have seen, or a little post the other day about sex and heart and the importance of this connection between your heart center and the sacral center and the root and the heart in every form of tantric and yogic practice. You know, the central channel, the sushumna, through which your sexual energy flows, of course, flows all the way through the body, and the energy is then able to flow all the way up and all the way down. Or if you work with the Taoist practices and Taoist system, the energy flows up the back of the body and then down the front of the body. But either way, there are these beautiful energy channels that permeate your whole physical body, connecting the energy with the physical, connecting energy and matter, right? And so, of course, they go all the way through your body. And this part of the body here connects into the heart chakra. And for many women, there's a disconnect between heart and sex, sex and heart, as there is for many men, pretty much every man, I would say, unless he's done a lot of work on himself. But it's actually the same for many women. There's this disconnection, and there's all kinds of reasons for it, you know, which I spoke about a little bit in my post. But it can be like growing up in a culture where you have been objectified, and the breasts particularly are objectified and fetishized, you know, so pervasively everywhere in our culture, that for a lot of women this can then lead to a numbing and disconnection from the breasts themselves, or feeling shame around them, or because of the patriarchal framework around the way women are depicted, feeling shame or comparison that they're too small, that they're too big, you know, that they're lopsided, all of this stuff, which is a patriarchal framework of looking at your body and judging yourself based against some external standard, rather than standing in the truth and the power and the love of yourself, as knowing that you're inherently perfect, you're inherently beautiful, and, you know, nature expresses itself in infinite variety of ways, and every way is perfect and every way is beautiful. And so there can be this disconnection for those kinds of reasons, and then also for reasons of shaming and religion and you know, the sense that sex itself is bad or wrong or dirty. So then there's this disconnect. So we get women who may be like really loving but not at all sexual, or really sexual but in a way that is harmful to themselves, because the sex and heart aren't connected. And they may be having loads of sex and thinking that that's wonderful, but it's actually not sex in its fullest expression that it can be, because the sex and heart aren't connected, and there's a disconnection from the sense of self-care, boundaries, self-love, self-nurture in what's happening in the physical intimacy and the relational intimacy, you know, because for there to be wholeness, you have to be wholly in yourself, and these two centers need to be connected. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions while I'm talking, or any comments, post them, okay? And so, you know, people can also always immediately assume that to work on your sexual energy and your awakening, you need to go down to the womb space, down to the yoni. And of course, there's truth in that. Of course there is, because that's where the energy of Shakti rises from. And a lot of women are holding and storing trauma and disconnect and numbness in the yoni, which is every part, and that needs to be woken up physically and spiritually. But there's also this part here, the heart, and the heart chakra connects to your breasts. So there are tantric meditation practices, there are Taoist meditation practices which focus purely on the breasts as a way of opening the heart and creating this downwards flow of energy from the heart to the sex. As I wrote in my blog post of the day, you know, I have direct experience of that, and for a lot of you it may have happened, you know, without trying to do anything. It just happened. As my heart opened, so my heart, love and energy descended into my genitals, and then I felt arousal in my genitals as a result of relating with a man with whom I felt safe, with whom I felt honored and heard and seen. He wasn't, you know, we weren't having a conversation about sex. We were just having a conversation where he was listening. And as he listened and as he spoke to me from his heart, he spoke to me from his truth, he spoke to me authentically, and this dialogue continued. My heart just began to open and open and open, and all of a sudden this energy was flowing down and I was feeling wet and aroused. So you see, for a woman, this arousal, you know, the true arousal, is not necessarily at all about, you know, going straight for those obvious sexual points and rubbing on them. It sort of begins much further out. Go out into the auric field, go out into your energy field, and go out into the perception and the sensitive response to what is coming into your field. Like, what energy is coming into my field? What is he bringing? Is he coming in with presence? Is he coming in with respect? Is he coming in with honor? Like, before he's even come anywhere near your body, and before you're even talking about sex. And, you know, a man, or the masculine, because we do this for ourselves, you know, as he comes in with his true integrity, with his inner alignment with his presence, so your feminine opens. And part of what we do in the Awakening Shakti course, and particularly next month when we are focusing on meeting the masculine, is that we experience that for ourselves within. So then we become less needy, right? We're not projecting out for love. We're not projecting our desire out to be fulfilled from the outside. And the interesting thing is that then makes us more magnetic to healthy relationship, and more magnetic to men who are going to value and honor us. But we don't do it for that reason. We do it to become whole within ourselves, and to really experience as well the aliveness, the juiciness, the deliciousness that we feel in our bodies when this inner union is happening. Here in all of you, in all of me, I feel it happening. And then that just radiates out. So it's like, you know, when you see someone who's had really amazing sex and they're just glowing, their skin is like really glowing and they're really alight, and they're, you know, that you can just see the love and the sensuality oozing off them. Well, we don't have to be with a partner to experience that within, and to have that same level of radiance and juiciness radiating from us. I've had sex myself once in the last 3 years. I've been single now for 3 years, which is, wow, that's a fucking record. But yeah, so I've had actual sex with a man once in those 3 years, and I feel very juicy, I feel very alive, I feel very radiant, I feel very sensual, I feel very glowing within. And I think you can probably see that, although I'm just thinking my hair looks a bit greasy, but never mind about that. Anyway, just to come back to the boobs. So again, there can be this misconception in men and women that size has something to do with your beauty, and magnetism to men, rubbish. And that size has something to do with the pleasure, rubbish. And this is a whole area that often hasn't been explored by women themselves in terms of self-pleasuring. So often the instinct is to put the hand down to the yoni and go there, to the clitoris, to the vagina, whatever. But how often do you spend time here, up here, with your heart and your breasts? And my experience, both personally and in the women that I've worked with, is that the more the heart opens energetically, and the more the heart is healed energetically, you know, because a lot of us are carrying so many wounds and so much armoring here through experiences of rejection, through experiences of abandonment, through experiences of betrayal. So all of those experiences of life create this armoring, this deadening, this closure and contraction in the heart, in the energetic heart. And so that can quite often create numbness in the chest and the breasts. But that can change, that can be healed. And as this heart, beautiful heart energy opens, so more sensation comes into your breasts. I mean, look, they're designed, mine are small, but I love them. They're designed to come out and to give, to transmit love to the world. If you have a child, of course, look, you are nurturing a child with the energy and the fluid and the sacred nectar that is flowing out of your nipples into your child's mouth. You're literally feeding them love. And you know, how amazing is that? You can also do that actually as a meditation practice with your lover. It's a tantric practice. I won't go into the details of that now, but so very powerful area here for awakening, just as much as the yoni is. And oh, there was something else I was going to say about the heart. It's kind of gone out of my head. Never mind, it will come back if it's important. So sensitivity can increase, and oh, that's it, yes. So if you put yourself opposite a man, then as you go up the chakras, right, your positive pole is placed opposite his negative pole. So you give where he receives. So we give from the heart and he receives, right? So we give from here, we receive here, we give from here, we receive at the root. And so there's this polarity that plays out up till we get to here, which is why actually going against the grain of what many people believe, men's hearts are super, super vulnerable and super, super tender. This is where we project from. So they receive our love from the heart. And this is a beautiful meditation practice. Again, you can do with a partner or you can do with yourself, to give love and receive from their sex. To give love, receive from their sex. So you can either do this sitting with a partner, you breathe out your love from your heart to their heart, they breathe your love in, they breathe it in and down to their lingam, down to their penis, and then they breathe out from through their penis, and you inhale their beautiful energy and the love that you're generating together and take it into your yoni and breathe it up. And that's the cycle. But you can do the same cycle with yourself. In through the root, up to the heart, out to the root, and keep going. It's beautiful and it can become orgasmic. The other thing that you can do as part of a daily practice is breast massage, which in Taoist practice, if you're working with a jade egg, for example, I hope I'm still there, somebody was just trying to call me. Yeah, in Taoist practice, if you're working with a jade egg, you would massage your breasts and your ovaries first before coming anywhere close to inserting your jade egg into your actual vagina. Because that is part of warming the body up, warming the energy flow up, open, beginning to open. They use the word lotus for the yoni. I think it's just so beautiful, the lotus. So this is part of the practice. So what you would want to do is to, when you have some time set aside for sacred self-care and sacred self-nurture, is to slowly I mean, I'm going very rapidly now, so I would not advise you to go this rapidly, but to connect to your heart, so breathing in and out of your heart for a good 5 minutes so that you feel yourself present in your heart chakra. Be aware that your heart connects to these meridians that run down the inside of your arms and into your hands. So there's pure love coming out of your hands, and then you would begin to massage your breasts. And if you want to do it in the traditional Taoist way, which you don't have to, but you would start from the outside, and you would very, very, very slowly with your fingers or a cupped hand massage from the outside and all the way into the nipple. But going slowly, I'm going fast just to kind of show you the pathway. We go all the way in, right to the center. That feels really yummy. And then all the way out. So as I say, I'm speeding it right up. So you would go really slowly, like really feeling into the nuance of sensation that is here. And then of course you can just begin to freestyle and just any kind of movement, touch, energy in this whole area, because this whole area is connected to your heart chakra. And of course, this has the added benefit, the side effect, that the more in tune you are with this area, you see, I'm already feeling so much pleasure here. It's becoming orgasmic, right? But keeping your breasts healthy, of course, we know is really important, and breast massage is a really good tool for keeping your breasts healthy. That's not really the main reason I do it, but then you might also want to flow that energy of love up to your throat. And of course, then when you've really worked this area for a good 15 minutes, you can flow this energy down to your ovaries and to your womb and to your yoni and down the body, and then just come back for more. Just come back for more energy and begin to spread it around. And you'll find that this is blissful. This is delicious, and you can take it all over. So, what's the other thing I was going to say? Well, you can just stay just purely concentrated here. Maybe just cupping, like exploring what feels good, exploring, and it doesn't have to be that you're aiming. Well, actually, I wouldn't want you to be aiming for something, to be aiming to get to a point, to be aiming for a result. I would invite you just simply to have an intention of loving exploration and loving self-care, nothing more than that. And curiosity and exploration and discovery and healing and nurture and self-love and deliciousness, not aiming to get somewhere, and just let yourself be surprised by what you discover. And I would then also add that I know for some women this area is completely numb. So, you know, you may look at a woman and you may feel envy because like she to you looks like she's got these gorgeous boobs, but they could be completely numb. You know, and she has no sensation in them. So it's not about the size. But again, I do know that with daily or regular love, with regular attention, the sensitivity will build, enhance, and grow. And alongside that, if you're also doing practices for self-love and healing the wounds of your heart, the sensitivity will also grow. Personally, I'll just tell you one thing I experienced, which is I really never had much sensitivity that I was aware of in my breasts until I had children. And then when I was breastfeeding my children and just like so in love with my children, I experienced breastfeeding as otherworldly ecstatic is how I would describe breastfeeding. I mean, just sublime. And after that, my breasts were so sensitive in a way they had never been before. And that's never changed. So, you know, I don't care what my breasts look like, but I love that they are so sensitive and such a beautiful part of my arousal and self-pleasure for me these days. So I hope that was helpful. Not seeing any questions or comments, but if you have any or any sharings that you'd like to offer, please, you know, bring them, put them in the comments. It's great to hear from other people here in the group. But for now, that is me. I'm off to take this yummy energy with me and go and do something else. Lots of love.